Hey Rob, what are you doing?
Well, Courtney, we're hanging out here at the Sherlock Ranch, which is part of Washington Fruit. We're in a Fuji apple orchard, and we're working with the Thunderstruck system. So we have this great tablet-friendly touch-first user interface to make it easy for people working out in crops or in orchards to work with these things. So it's very touchable. So right now I'm kind of in the home screen. I've got sensors nearby. We've got different device groups here. You can see in this case, the group for this area is Sherlock Ranch. We also, by default, every organization, an organization could be a company or something else. That's obviously Washington Fruit. They get a global group. So let's just zoom in into devices. If we were starting from scratch and creating new devices, on my new device screen, I might type in a device name. I would say, what kind of device type is it? In this case, I've only created one kind, an Ardesco, which is the ones we built with Nordic Semiconductor, but it could be other device types. It could be custom ones. It could be off-the-shelf Arduino, maybe a Raspberry Pi, who knows? You choose the group that this device belongs to. In this case, it's going to be Sherlock Ranch. Right here is frequency. How often do we want to send devices telemetry? So it's that health, that state information. So with our devices that we currently have out here, it's temperature, humidity, soil moisture, air quality, which is really critical these days with the fires we've seen in the West, latitude, longitude, lots of things like that give us a sense of the health of the soil and the crops and the trees out here. So frequency, how often do I want to send it? Maybe I want to send it, once per second, once per minute. In a farm, once per hour is reasonable. If you were in a factory, you might do it once per second. If we really wanted to be close monitoring and automating water systems, we may want to do it every 20 minutes. Frequency is also used as a security mechanism. The customer expects a device to send data, let's just say in this case, once per hour, for instance. If you started seeing data coming in once every millisecond, there's probably a good chance that device has been hacked and maybe a denial of service attack is underway. We will flag that and we'll prevent that data from coming through. We can also lock out that device. Subnet IP address range. I know that sounds really geeky. Basically, this is the source IP address, like when you think about the internet, of where that device is coming from. So normally, if a device has the right security token and identity, you should let it through. But we want to have extra layers of security so that we don't just trust everything. So if you ever think about a situation where you had to log in from a new machine or maybe from a different country and you were prompted they didn't know if it was really you because you were coming from a different location, it's kind of like that. And so we can set a range of IP addresses at a group level, so you can do multiple versions of these for different groups, for different locations, to say we only expect devices to be coming in from this range, from this IP address range to that, so that rogue devices that have been hacked coming from somewhere else, other countries, we will reject them.
Wow, so even more security.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Enabled, I know this sounds really simple. A device has to be enabled to let data in. If it's disabled, we block it. We can automatically auto-block these devices too when devices have too many red flags. If they screw up too often with different security checks, we will shut them down. The last thing here is rotating security tokens. So, how at the office with your computer, your company probably makes you change your password maybe once every few months.
Yep.
That's to keep hackers guessing. If they know that if they've somehow stolen usernames and passwords and they know you never change it, they can get to your system anytime they want. But if you're always changing it, it makes it harder for them. We're doing the same thing with devices here on the farm. Lots of companies are getting hacked. Lots of municipalities are getting hacked. You hear news almost every week now these days. So rotating security tokens means every time the device connects to Thunderstruck Cloud and sends its data, we rotate. We give it a new security token and we tell it, guess what? Here's your new token. And from now on, you got to use it. We'll do that rotation every single time it connects. So we're going to keep those hackers guessing so that they won't have a firm grip and be able to get into a customer's critical infrastructure. So this is kind of how you would do that to create a device and all the extra security layers you have there. Also, if you want to bulk create a device, so there I was doing one at a time, but maybe that's too tedious. What if I've got a giant farm? What if I have thousands of acres or thousands of individual blocks or farms that I need to create for. I might need to just blast out lots of them all at once. So I'd still choose the device type like before. I would choose the group. But here, instead of having a lot of granular information, we're going to do a lot of default information. And I might just say, hey, I want to create 100 devices. Or I may want to create 1 million devices. And right there behind the scenes, we created all those devices automatically, right?
Very cool.
Yeah. This is also good if you're a system integrator and you're doing a project on behalf of a customer, or if you're a device maker or a semiconductor OEM, you would go into Thunderstruck and pre-create maybe 1 million unique identities and security tokens and register them and bake them in at time of manufacturing or after the fact into those devices so that when you hand them over to the customer, they're ready to go. So this is a time saver.
Wow. Very, very cool. Thanks for sharing. This is really awesome.
No problem.